Guys, I'm Lisa Martinez, and this week's silhouette tutorial is going to be about actually creating a puzzle. So this is probably going to be a little bit more towards people who may actually have a silhouette um, machine, but the design software, the Silhouette Studio, actually has a really cool function called the Puzzle Maker. And I probably am saying that incorrectly. So you can actually drop in a graphic, a picture, and create a puzzle. So some of the things that you might want to use for materials might want to be maybe some printable magnetic paper, or if you wanted, if you were doing this for kids that are learning, you might want to be able to do it on print it out and then maybe laminate it and then cut it. I'm going to go ahead and say first that I have not tried this in Cricut, but I was able to save it as an SVG file, and I was able to load it into a different software program, and I was able to see the cut lines. So you could definitely try this if you are a Cricut person, but are using the Silhouette software to create and design things. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and say up front is that you definitely do need the designer edition to create this. This is definitely not a free function, but this is actually a really cool feature, super easy, and just a really neat, another different type of project that you could probably do. Not sure if you'd want to sell these, again, depending on what type of material you're using. That's probably going to be a trial and error, what material is going to work best. But I did see a lot of people using printable magnetic sheets. And I think that would be like really great, for kids. You could put it on the refrigerator type of thing. That would be really great. So let's go ahead and jump into it and let's get started. And okay, so here is our Silhouette Studio. So here's our clean page. So first thing we want to do is definitely we want to make sure, because we are going to do a print and cut function. So first thing we want to do is actually make sure that our print border is on and our registration marks are on. So if you're going to be trying to do this in to download it into your Cricut, you don't have to worry about this. But if you have a Silhouette and I would definitely do this first. This way you'll be able to size your picture. So I'm going to show you two different things, one with a graphic and then one with an actual picture. So let's just go ahead and grab a picture that we have. So let's just drag this in here. This is just a graphic that we've used before. Okay, so again, because we're doing a print and cut, we want to make sure that we are within the registration marks. Okay, we can size it accordingly. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we can close out our page setup. The next thing we want to do is we're going to actually hit over to this puzzle piece, and it's actually called a puzzle generator. So the next thing we want to do is we want to click on our image because this is what we want to create. The next thing we want to do is hit puzzle selected shape. And if you noticed, I'm going to go ahead and actually thicken up the lines so you can actually see them. There we go. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. So you can actually see it automatically created our image into a puzzle. So if you noticed, it did kind of shrink it up a little bit. So just be cautious of the graphic that you're picking and the design that you want to use. Again, because there is a border around it, the one thing I played with this with a couple of different graphics. The one thing I did not like was it did provide a lot of white space. So when we actually do an actual photo, I'll show you the difference. And I actually like the photo much better versus using some type of graphic. Again, because of all the white space that it left. But let's go ahead and keep moving. So the next thing, so there's several different options. So you've actually got rows. How many rows do you want and how many columns? So if you can see, we've got 6 rows and 4 columns. Do we want more rows? Do we want more columns? And you can actually adjust it. Say we don't want that many. It'll actually fix it. You can see the puzzle pieces are getting a little bit bigger. Say we want to do, 6 columns, and you can see how the puzzle pieces are actually getting a little bit narrower. So it's strict, up to you how you want your puzzle to be. If you want it, a 5 by 5, there we go. The next thing we have down here are our puzzle settings and the curvature. If you notice, our puzzle pieces have a slight curve to them. If you don't want that in your puzzle, you can actually check that off and you're going to get your strict block pieces. But if you like that curved look on your puzzles, like I actually like that, you can do that. Next, you can actually adjust how much curve you want. So this is at its full capacity. So let's go ahead and and you can see how the curve is starting to lessen. So there's a little bit of a curve, not too much curve. Okay. We've got the ripple. And the ripple is it's kind of like the curve, but it's that little ripple effect going down. See how the line is a little bit straighter versus see how this is more curved, but then some of these longer pieces are a little bit more straighter. That's what the ripple is. Again, you can just make all these adjustments. And then the wobble, I think that's actually kind of funny. The wobble is going to be these little pieces. If you can see, they're adjusting. So if you didn't want them, if you wanted them all symmetrical, the wobble are these little pieces where we're going to interlink them to create the puzzle pieces. So if you look at them, they're all pretty much symmetrical all the way across. So if we select this all the way up to full capacity at 100%, you can see how some of them are down here, some of them are up there. They're just kind of a little bit all, not discombobulated, but they're just a little bit more, I don't want to say off-centered. They're just random. That's the word I'm looking for. So you can either select that, or there is this random selection. And if you click it, it'll actually just kind of randomly adjust the things. So if you can just keep selecting it until you like what you see. And then at this point, if you had a Cricut machine and you were happy with your with what you got, you could go do your print, then do your cut, and then create your puzzle. For your Cricut users, if I were you, I would definitely save this as a PNG and take it over to your Cricut. Again, I haven't tested it, so I'm just making suggestions suggestions just from what I know with Cricut, the way Cricut works. So you could save it as a PNG, take it over to your Cricut to design space, and do a print and cut there. As long as we've got the print cut, the cut lines, hopefully it'll be able to read that. So again, like I said, this is more towards Silhouette because I'm not quite sure if it's going to work with your with the Cricut software. So that is if we were going to use a graphics. So let's just start over. Oh, so say let's just say you had an image. Let's just grab another image. Let's see. What else do we have here that I could use? Let's take this coffee cup. Let's drop it over here. Say we wanted to make a puzzle with that. Let's click it. This was actually a really good one to pick because if you notice, it didn't adjust the size. So for instance, if for some reason you got nothing, you clicked on your image and you got nothing, you know what, let's do this. Let's bring the first image we got. Let's just delete all this again. Let's bring this Be Sweet back in. Let's adjust it. I think this is a good example for what I'm about to show you. Zoom out a little bit. My thing is slow today. Okay, so what, because we noticed how it kind of distorted when we hit the puzzle select, let's go ahead and create a box around it. We just want to create a black box around it. Okay, now click on your box and hit puzzle select. And if you notice, our image didn't shrink and get kind of not distorted, but it just didn't look as nice. So let me zoom into that. So in our first one, if you notice, we got the image and it kind of shrunk. It didn't stay to its true size. Put a box around it. Just go in there. Don't fill it. You don't have to fill it. I literally just put a little box around it. And if you notice, it didn't move at all. Why? Because the program thinks that it's selecting the box as the puzzle and the image is inside the box. I hope that makes sense. Let me say that again. The program is thinking that the puzzle generator is the box, but because we have our image, our clip art in the box already, that's why it didn't move and get distorted. So if you notice, you bring your image in, whatever it is, your graphic, and it gets that distorted kind of odd looking shape, throw a box around it and then select your puzzle. My favorite, I personally like, is actually doing a photo. So I'm actually going to import a photo of me and my daughter on this. And if you notice, I took the image out and you still got a box with the puzzle pieces. So, okay. So let's go ahead and import. I think this works so much better with a photo. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this photo, me and my daughter. And of course, don't we love it when it just zooms in? Enormous. I'm just going to adjust it. Again, we just want to size it to what we want. Hit puzzle select. I'll change these. Just so you can see the lines. And there we go. See how I really like this puzzle with a photo, because it literally just creates everything. There's not a lot of white space. It's almost like a true puzzle with this. And then again, you would go to your print and cut, and you would go to your print and cut, and then you would have a quick and easy puzzle. I actually saw somebody else do like a greeting card or something. It was like they had said thank you, and they had printed it and put the word thank you, but they put it, they used cardstock and laminating sheets, and then they put it inside a card. So when that person opened it, they had this little puzzle with this little, you know, secret message. So they had to put it together to see what the secret message was. I thought that was a really neat idea, really inexpensive. You know, maybe it's a great way to tell somebody happy birthday, I love you, I miss you, thank you. You know, just another sweet, fun little project that we can do. So if you'd use this function, I have not used it, but I've played with it and it looks really fun. If you use it, if you played with it, and you make a puzzle, I'd love to hear how it came out. Again, I would just save your, if you're going to transfer this over to Cricut, just save it as a PNG. This way you can do a print and cut and see if it'll work. Again, I haven't tested it in Cricut, so I can't guarantee that it's going to work. So again, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's a nice, short, sweet one. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will be more than happy to help you. So until next time, thanks guys. Bye.